So I saw a story about Lamiez. Uh, the girl has gone to the hospital. She's having issues with her health and stuff like that. And so we are praying that for health there. You will remember that Lamiez recently got married not long back and stuff. And so she was kind of like informing her fans and her audience about her health situation, but also kind of like raising awareness health wise. She did a video. She didn't just make a post, she made a video explaining her health issues. I'm gonna play you the video a little bit, okay? But you can go onto her Instagram and you see the full video. For those that don't know, Lami, she's a DJ. She's an artist who is very popular in South Africa. She's been one of the most respected in South Africa in her craft and all of that. And so this came kind of like almost, kind of a shocker, kind of on social media. But I want to talk about something, subject matter, right? I want to talk about why, why do we laugh? And the reason why I want to talk about that is because a lot of times when we see these stories, we forget this person has a whole life, okay? This person has a husband, this person has a family, this person, all of that. This person has care as a child. When we see a story, a lot of times we forget those details. But on this one, I want to talk mainly, you can think about the other points. When I see stories every day, I want to think about every single time I see a story, I think about the lesson behind and what could I learn from this story. So that's why you'll see sometimes I take stories. I love taking stories and then bringing a biblical perspective around it. Now, on this one, I wanted to point out why do we laugh? Why do we laugh? Play you this video a little. I'll be back.
So why was I in hospital? Let's get straight to the point. I went for, how do you pronounce it? Laparoscopic.
Hello friends, this is the case of
I was rushed to hospital for an emergency laparoscopic ovarian cystectomy. Oh, that's a lot of English. It was an operation where they put a camera through my throat and they deal with issues more. So we found that I have these cysts that had grown. There were two. So the one ruptured and that caused extreme pain because it's not poison. And my doctor then put me on medication and he said I'd have to decide if whether or not we were going to operate on the bigger one or just wait for it to also rupture and I'd go through the pain again, but I'd live. Fast forward to Thursday, last week Thursday, the pain got unbearable. So I called him and he said I should come in and he was ready to do an emergency operation. So he wanted to do an emergency op to remove the cyst because the cyst had now grown, it was bigger than my womb.
If we fell in love with a person because they are beautiful, right? Should they fall sick? Should they get into an injury? Should they find themselves in a position of harm or hurt, which they can't predict, which they can't stop? It's an injury, it's an accident. What our perception of beauty might be might change. So we fall in love with the person. We fall in love with the person. Okay, it's very important. We fall in love with the person. It's not appearance. You can get married to a person today, and tomorrow they fall sick. Then what happens? Gonna post twice about it. They motivate you, and then you go back, and then you are looking back at that person. How who was supposed to be out there doing life? You decided to be sick, and you forget they don't decide that. Life happens, and a lot of people's view on love, relationship has nothing to do with life happens. It's very unrealistic to what a person can control. It's very unrealistic. Sickness will hit you. Now, this is the thing. You also want to think about when you are doing it to someone, if you're deciding how they get sick, now me, I must be here in the house. This person lose their job. Now me, I must be here. Let me tell you something. If it was you, see, that's the best way to always observe a decision that one makes. If it was you, what would you have them do? If they had to deal with you after life had happened to you, what would you rather they have done? It's important we think of it that way because I think that way you consider the decisions I make I would do for the other person. That's why the Bible says, do for someone as you would to them, as they would do to you, as you would want them to do to you. Now, you don't treat every decision as if they would do it to you, or think of how you are bulletproof to life happening to you. But you think of it as if that was me. So we love not the person's appearance. You may fall in love with the person in one way, but we love and our love extends to the person themselves. This is a godly vessel. This is a human spirit. That's what we fall in love with. Don't fall in love with shape. Body change, people get chubby, eating chips, and all of that. And so we don't fall in love with shape, we fall in love with the person. The person is what brings longevity in marriage. Now, someone will say, Ricky, you're not married. You are talking about. No, but it is loving the person. That's logical. Because a person's appearance can change. Now, that face that you think, oh, so beautiful. I think the person bent. It really changes your perspective on why do we fall in love and what do we fall in love with, or where do we grow in love with the person. Okay? And so, yes, there's all these other things that a person, yes, they themselves do and whatnot and all of that. But it's so central because life happens. You can get married to a person today, tomorrow they get into an accident. Tomorrow, like literally tomorrow. Then what? It's a very interesting story. If you listen to the story of TD Jakes and his wife, it's not a very popular story, but for those that have followed TD Jakes, his life, not necessarily his ministry, tends to be dodging. And there's a story about his wife. After just a few years of them being married, his wife became paralyzed. Go look up that story and you will hear how crazy life can happen. Life can happen to a person. So if we got into marriage, or if we fall in love with a person, and you fell in love because of what you get out of it, I got sex or I got what, you're going to have problems. We fall in love with a person that's long term. That is a care, that is a love. It's what I give. It's not only what I get. Because a lot of times it's all what I get, what I get. Now, please don't bring abuse in relationships because some people, we start a good conversation. You want to start a negative one. What's wrong with you? Think about it. If life happened, what would that they do back towards you? It's Ricky, fruitful thought.